Well, good evening once again. Day 108 of the Biden administration, and the opposition to the Biden administration, a.k.a. the Republican Party, is not only firmly in the grip of Donald Trump. Tonight, two of his most devoted acolytes are on the road pushing the big lie to a crowd of loyal Trump supporters. Congressman Matt Gaetz, who happens to be currently under federal investigation for possible sex trafficking, and Congresswoman Marjorie Greene, a conspiracy theorist and QAnon supporter, joined forces tonight to launch an America First tour with a rally at the largest retirement community in our country, the Villages in Florida.
We have never abandoned Trump, and he has never abandoned America. If Liz Cheney could even find Wyoming on a map and went there, she would find a lot of very angry cowboys who are not happy with the fact that she's sort of for every war. War in Syria, for it. War against Trump and his supporters, for it. War against the Republican conference, war against her own voters. And it appears that Liz Cheney may no longer be the chair of the Republican conference. This might be the first war she's ever sought to end.
The Democrats that say they won the presidential race, the Democrats that are working very, very hard and very fast and aggressively to pass their socialist agenda, you are not going to put us down for loving President Trump and what he did for the past 4 years.
This comes at the end of a week in which we witnessed Republicans set in motion the removal of Congresswoman Liz Cheney from the leadership bracket in the House for the crime of rejecting the big lie and actually saying Joe Biden won the election. Washington Post out with new reporting on how the ousting of Republicans like Cheney and control of the party are now at the top of Donald Trump's post-White House agenda. They write that Trump is now, quote, refashioning himself as the president of the Republican states of America and reshaping the party in ways both micro and macro. He has privately revived his claims that he plans to run for president again in 2024 and is propelled primarily by a thirst for retribution, an insatiable quest for the spotlight, and a desire to establish and maintain total dominance and control over the Republican base. New York Times notes that the party now sees reigniting its culture wars as their way back to the White House and majorities in Congress. The party is focused on, quote, polarizing issues that stoke conservative outrage, like the court expansion bill, calls to defund the police, which many Democrats oppose, and efforts to provide legal status to undocumented immigrants and grant statehood to the District of Columbia. Even as Trump and his allies focus on future elections, the Washington Post has another disturbing report about how Donald Trump's Justice Department secretly obtained the phone records of Washington Post journalists and tried to obtain their email records over reporting they did in the early months of the administration on Russia's role in our 2016 election. Here is what Trump was saying during those initial months in office.
I've actually called the Justice Department to look into the leaks. Those are criminal leaks. I want the Attorney General to be much tougher on the leaks.
So there you have it. Right now, Republicans in several states where they control the legislatures are putting all of their efforts into making it harder to vote. Bills introduced in the Ohio House would limit mail-in balloting and reduce early voting. This morning, Texas lawmakers passed a bill that would roll back access to the ballot. That comes just a day after Florida Governor Ron DeSantis signed that measure that also restricts voting in his state. He even held it up to show it off just the way Donald Trump used to.